after yesterday's thrilling round of games which saw England wreak havoc on Iran, beating the Asian side 6 goals to 2 and firmly established their credentials as favourites for this World Cup, as well as a thrilling encounter between Wales and the United States which ended 1 goal apiece. Today's match, however, is in focus, and it is Argentina playing against the other Gulf nation to qualify, which is Saudi Arabia. We have with us Sunil Yashkalra, founder of the Indian Sports Fan, to talk more on this. Sunil, what are you expecting from today's game with today's game between Argentina and Saudi Arabia? What's it looking like?
Well, you've got the greatest player of all time on the field today, and it's Messi, and you get a blockbuster on day 2. Well, in fact, we've got to talk a little bit more about Messi and the magic of Messi that comes in from the Argentinian flavor. So for that, we've got one of the best journalists from Argentina who joins us from Doha, Qatar. Incidentally, Paridhi, he's the same journalist whose tweet ran into 5 million this thing when in the opening ceremony he tweeted about the Venezuelan fans, you know. So there we are. We are privileged to have Javier Lanza. Javier, my first question to you. Your tweet was the biggest individual tweet on the opening day. I mean, for world over. And what do you expect? Did you expect that kind of response coming in? 5 million people watching, sharing. Incidentally, in India, it was very famous. Your views, Javier?
Author of the tweet. Ecuadorian fans song for beer in Qatar. I never thought this video of my tweet converted in viral of the thousands and comments and quotes and calls for me in the different media of the different countries, because only post because in my opinion was a color, an action of color to in the game, the inaugural match Qatar-Ecuador, because the ban Qatar sold alcohol convert this song in something nice and rare in the opening match of the World Cup.
Brilliant. Javier, I know it's a little too late at night to talk to you, but just understanding the Argentinian team comes in as favourites. I mean, what goes in for them, considering that they were also tagged as favourites in 2014 and also in 2018? What has changed since then?
This Argentine national team has not everything to do. The last 2 process of qualifiers World Cups in the 2014 and 18. The principal difference is the first and start and final to the same coach, Lionel Scaloni. The last 2 process were very difficult. Change of names, players going, put in sack. This is the group. This group won the title 29 years later, the last Copa America, the last year in Brazil. And the group intense with Messi is the captain, the star, the only player, unsubstitutable, the best player in the world, and all the group is the same 29 years later, the last Copa America, the last year in Brazil. And the group intense with Messi. Is the captain, the star, the only player, unsubstitutable, the best player in the world, and all the group is the same objective, the World Cup. Argentina lost the third and the fifth, and that quality convert this team in a favorite of the. I don't say won the World Cup because 7 games is very varied.
Great. That was our friend Javier Lanza joining us from Doha, Qatar. Incidentally, he's one of the most followed Argentinian journalists. Right now, we'll shift our focus to the game which happened yesterday, and we have Patrick Green joining us from Doha. Patrick, if you can hear us. Patrick, I go on to your first question to you. Were you excited? Did you expect this kind of an outcome and the outlook which happened yesterday?
No, I didn't. We thought that Iran would be a tough nut to crack. And to an extent they were. But once they did crack, it seems they had no plan B. They didn't really come to play attacking football. They came to shut up shop and try to hit us on the break. And when they conceded 3 goals, they had no way back. 6 goals is always a brilliant result at a World Cup. We're the first team to score 3 in the first half of a World Cup since ourselves 4 years ago against Panama. And that's really exciting. Of course, conceding 2 goals is never brilliant. And they did get in behind too much for my liking. So that's something to work on when we play better teams. But you can't win 6-2 at a World Cup and be anything but positive, to be honest.
So you've got a new teenager who last time it was Kylian Mbappe and this time is your 19-year-old gem. Do you want to talk a little bit about the first goal?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. The first goal is always the most important. We said we needed 1 goal against Iran and then we'd be looking really good. And then the floodgates did open. And what a player. I mean, whoever you are now, think about what you were doing when you were that age. You probably weren't scoring in a World Cup, right? It's remarkable. And, you know, how many years will we have a player like Jude Bellingham? That's our midfield sorted for years, hopefully. Fantastic player. And to not have any nerves at that age in your first World Cup, he's done it in the Champions League. He's showing a maturity beyond his years.
Right.
And I'm really excited to see him for England, not just in this World Cup, but for the next decade and hopefully even beyond that. You know, we've had some great midfielders who never managed to lift a trophy for England, you know, Gerrard and Lampard. So now it's Jude Bellingham who we put our trust in, and it looks like that trust isn't misplaced right now.
Absolutely. You spoke about Jude Bellingham. Let's carry forward to the second and the third and the fourth goal. How about Bukayo Saka? I mean, where did he come from? How did he come in? And especially the goal of Raheem Sterling. He didn't score in 2014. He couldn't score in 2018. But here he extends his right leg and there you go. Boom. Your thoughts?
Well, starting with Bukayo Saka, he has been playing for Arsenal. He's worked his way from the academy right into the first team under Mikel Arteta. And Saka's a key player for Arsenal as they've continued their transformation and rise to the top of the Premier League. And for Saka and Sterling, I'm both so happy for them. Sterling as well, a fantastic player. Didn't really score in the World Cup 2018, but in Euro 2020 became the main man, almost alongside Harry Kane. In fact, you could say his performances are even better with Kane. But a lot of these players have gone through some tough times with England. After Saka missed the decisive penalty in the Euro 2020 shootout, he had to endure quite a lot of abuse. Raheem Sterling, the press has been on him for quite a while. So now seeing that they're sort of managing to hit their stride and getting the love of the nation again, it's really nice. It's a nice human story. And as footballers, they're fantastic as well and fully merited that they should start in the World Cup, and they're repaying Gareth Southgate's faith with a brilliant
But-
performance. Now they need to keep going, of course.
Patrick, I've got a very, you made a very pertinent point that the press was after Raheem Sterling for a long while now. It happened the same with Ronaldo. Ronaldo has complained about it. Do you think English press, and especially the press from Britain, is disdainfully merciless when it comes to the players, and especially players of different origin?
Yeah, well, the before Gareth Southgate took over, there wasn't really that much of a connection with the English team. And there was this perception that basically they were sort of, overpaid millionaires, sort of, they would go and get their money, but they didn't really care about what it meant to the fans. And they would, just go to their nice house and sort of, go out partying. And it was all about money. And it did seem to be especially black players that got the brunt of the criticism. And there was a debate over to maybe there was a racial aspect there. But since Gareth Southgate took over, he's managed to restore the connection, not just with the press, but with English society at large. And the English public seem to get on much better with the team. So that's one real positive of Southgate's reign, that it shows great character from Saka and Sterling to put up with racial and other abuse and managing to just keep pressing on as professionals, something that it's very hard to do when everyone's getting on your back, I think, to continue. But they've showed great mental fortitude. And yeah, I do think the press can get on to players, but there's also been a lot of support from other sections of society, perhaps other publications as well.
Patrick, I'm going to hold your thought there. You said press can be a little nasty towards certain players, but what's it with Gareth Southgate and Harry Maguire? I mean, we thought that he's going to be an Achilles heel, and I'm sure you saw the poster yesterday. It's not coming home because it's Harry Maguire. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, well, the Iranian fans clearly have a good sense of humour, but the fact is that Gareth Southgate has always liked and trusted Harry Maguire, and Harry Maguire seems to have always paid him back in the World Cup 2018 and Euro 2020.
I'm going to cut you there. He didn't pay yesterday. There was a big mess up, and therefore you lost a goal. Would you agree?
Yeah, and as I said, that's going to be something that will have to factor in his thinking, because this is the worst form of Maguire's career. But Maguire, he got an assist, he won a lot of duels. There was that mistake, but I don't think Maguire's performance was bad over the course of the 90 minutes. He put in good passes, some line-splitting passes as well. And as I said, Maguire has always been trusted by Southgate. Maguire's normally paid him back. I think that the way Southgate sees it is that Maguire is key when playing the ball from the back, and that he's willing to put up with some defensive mistakes, also a good aerial presence from set pieces, which have always been important to Southgate's England. There is a feeling that maybe because of his defensive transgressions, I should say, that Southgate may want to revert to a back five, just to stop the defensive errors and cover. But the back four worked well. We conceded 2, which was defensive error, but we made up for it by scoring 6. So Harry Maguire has his issues. He's also important. And, Southgate, that's the thing being a manager. You're not going to have 11 perfect players. Every player has his deficiencies, right? And Southgate's got to find the mix. But for right now, he's going with Maguire. It's not a decision that's cost him before, so I understand why he's persisting, even though we do have fantastic backup centre-backs as well.
Patrick, yesterday was almost a historic game when it comes to making a comment, making a geopolitical comment. You had an Iranian team who refused to sing the national anthem. What was going inside the stadium? Because we clearly were exchanging notes, and you sent some videos. And just take our viewers through the entire process. When the national anthem happened, what was happening, the cheering, the emotions, the crying, and suddenly the booing of the Iran.
Yeah, so there were some jeers definitely from the Iranian fans. So the English anthem was first, and then the Iranian one, and we were kind of. I said to my friend, I wonder if they boo the anthem, and it seemed that most of them were. The players refused to sing in protest, yeah, just looking at the atmosphere, I mean, it was from start to finish. I was walking around Doha before the game, and I was seeing the Women Life Freedom, which is the slogan of the protests. It seems that the female Iranian fans weren't covering their hair, which is a symbol of the protest in Iran. Yeah, women have to cover their hair, so women have been sort of refusing to do so, and that's sort of the crux of the issue. So there's a lot of emotion. As I said, the booing of the national anthem was one part. There was crying in the stands from some Iranian fans. A lot of Iranians refusing to use the current flag that's been used since the Islamic Revolution of 1979, either using the old flag of the previous regime or a neutral flag that cuts out the emblem of the current government and just replacing it with the word Iran. And I heard some people say something like freedom for Iran just walking past, so there is a charged political atmosphere in Iran, and the players clearly carrying a lot more on their back than they usually would do so, I think, as well.
Well, that was Patrick Green, our correspondent there, based out of Doha. Thank you very much, Patrick, for joining. We also had the Argentinian journalist talking about the greatness of Messi and how he mobilizes the entire fandom. In fact, in few hours from now, we will be watching one of the greatest players on this earth, and you will have half the world waking up in the middle of the night to watch it.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.